Sometimes gear doesn't work out the way you expect it to, so improvise. If you've been doing backpacking, hunting, tactical stuff, if you've been buying that kind of gear and using it for a while, then you already know things break, and sometimes they don't even work out the way you expect them to. You get them, you see them, you expect they're going to work out well, you buy them, you get them, and you're like, what the hell did I just buy? And then sometimes you look at stuff and you go, you know what, if I just change this one thing, that would be awesome. So, you gotta improvise, you gotta modify, you gotta change things around to work for you. So don't be afraid to poke holes, don't be afraid to change things up. For instance, I bought this on eBay like 2 years ago. It's been sitting in the back of a closet, haven't used it because when I got it, I realized that whatever pictures they took, the thing that holds the water bottle in didn't show that this was broken off, so I couldn't hold the water bottle in anymore on this butt pack, this lumbar pack. So I was like, you know what, I was kind of pissed off. I only got it for like 35 bucks. Just a nice, vintage North Face. Just threw it in the back of a closet, got kind of irritated, but recently, the last few days, I'm like, you know what, let me take a look at that again. And I came up with a plan to take bungee cord, put a rivet right here, and then on the other side of it, put a rivet right here, put the bungee cord through, and then I'll have my little holder for the water bottle in the water bottle. A little pouch here on each side. So I'm just going to improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? So other than that, this thing's perfectly fine. So here's another example. You've seen this Hill People Gear pack. This is the Oot pack. You've seen this one in a lot of videos. You've seen it in a lot of configurations. There'll probably be in different ones in the future. Right now it's my get home bag in my truck. And for this, what didn't work out for me was I had all these buckles and webbing in different parts of this pack, and there was a lot going on with it. It took a long time, to get everything cinched down. I didn't like it. I saw a really, really brief post a long time ago by one of the owners of Hill People Gear, and they had this quick, slimline kind of system for the side. It was like a quick, day pack kind of thing. And what it was just paracord zipped through the sides here, like I have, and then he just cinched it up. Now I took on that, and I put some heat shrink tubing on the end here, and then all I do is once I get everything kind of cinched in, you just pull up on it with its own weight, pull down like that, and you're done. You just kind of tuck this in here to the middle of the pack, and you're out, and you're moving around, getting on the way. It's not like a ton of time. So this was just a modification I made that worked for me. And those are the kind of things that you got to do sometimes to make things work out better for you. You put a pack on, you realize, hey, that doesn't work the greatest for me. What can I do to make it work better? And in that case, boom, zip, I'm moving. Another thing I recently got was the Frontier Resolve pack frame, and this thing is really awesome, by the way. I'll put a link down below to it. But this isn't made for Hill People Gear stuff. It's made for the Ilby and the Alice pack and the like. But I adapted by putting this onto it. It fits well, it works well. I've taken it out and tested it out, and it works great. You just gotta kind of think about what works for you. For me, I kind of looked at this pack, this Frontier Resolve pack frame, and I was like, what, I think that'll work. And I just went for it. And sometimes you gotta do that. You just gotta not be afraid to tear things apart, put them back together, and see what works for you. So this right here, this is a Hill People Gear pocket. I think it's called the Aston pocket. It goes on the outside of the pack. Haven't had a use for it as of late, so I was like, maybe I can just make a day, something I can take with my chest rig, So I took this off a Mayflower 24-hour pack because I'm using that for something else. I took these off of there, threw them on here, and I can put this on my back, and I got something for, some papers, maps, whatever. It's not super big, obviously, but it's an easier way to carry some, bigger, bulkier items. When you're out maybe doing like a day trip to kind of scout out for some hunting locations, and you just have some stuff to jot down. Boom, you can just throw it right in this pack and move on. So, you just gotta adapt with the stuff you got, and sometimes you gotta be unafraid to modify things and make them work for you. Another instance is holsters. You've seen me a lot of time, configure holsters. Like this one right here, you can see the hole that I kind of had to drill down. Wasn't that way from the factory, but I needed to bring the clip down. So I went ahead and drilled it out a little bit, and boom, made it work for me. So again, don't be afraid to, take things apart, put them back together, learn about modifying things, learn about sewing, learn about, just adhesives and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to learn about it, and webbing, stuff like that, buckles, all that stuff. You're gonna break it eventually if you're doing stuff long enough. You're gonna have to figure out how to repair it, tents, stuff like that, man. Just figure it out. Like my sleeping bag, this one right here. The baffle came from the factory not fully full of down, and I worked with the company and they were like, absolutely not our problem. We didn't do anything wrong. It's perfectly fine. And I'm like, look, I can touch it together. There's no down in it. And they wouldn't assist me. So they sent me some down. All right, I got it down. So I cut this apart right there, and I put down in here. And now I can feel down the whole baffle. Before, I could simply do that. I could pinch it together. Now I got some down in between everything. And then what I did was I just took these mini patches from Gear Aid that were black, and I put it, I sewed it back together. Sewed the top, just really basic and kind of like a barbarian-like. Sewed the top. I put one of those over top, and now you can barely even see, where that modification was. But now I have down the whole way up and down my baffle, which greatly makes me happy when I'm outside trying to stay warm. So hopefully that inspires and helps you kind of maybe make that extra step on something you've been looking at for a while. Maybe something's broke, maybe something doesn't work the way you want it to, and you kind of have an idea. Get into the thinking mind about, like, how can I make this work for me? It's kind of been sitting in my basement, sitting in my garage, sitting in my closet, and there's that 5% difference or 10% of a difference that you could make to make it work for you. Don't be afraid to go out, screw up, or you could even make it better. There's going to be some times when you screw up. There's going to be some times when you try to modify things and it doesn't go the way you want it to go. I've had that plenty of times. But you know what? In the end, you're going to learn. You're going to find out some new things and some new ways to go about things, some new gear you can get to fix things in the future, and be more self-reliant. So hopefully this helps you. I hope all your modifications go well with all your gear, and until next time, later.